Tropical update as of 6 a.m. PST, September 24th. We got three systems in the lake right now. A hurricane moving east northeastward, 93L and 94L, which is southeast of Puerto Rico. We're going to start out with Gabrielle, which has 95 knot winds as we were weakening now below a major hurricane. We can take a satellite look at this system. I lost its distinct eye because of the shear, but it's now moving east to east northeast. Um, let's take a look at the track. Um, it's moving east northeast at 25 miles per hour. The last advisory had 115 knot winds, but they're going to go down to below that, maybe 110 knots in a couple hours. Expect to head east to east northeast over the next 3 days and make landfall in the Azores. There's hurricane warnings, as you can see, for the Azores. Then afterwards, it becomes extratropical, but it could impact um, Portugal and Spain. I mean, by Monday. That's very interesting. Let's look at the models, which are very tight and support this idea very well. So, very likely. And it's definitely going to weaken, maybe below her by 60 hours. That's what we got on Gabrielle for it right now. Now we're going to talk about Narda, which has not become better organized. It's under easterly shear, as the NAC said last night. Let's look at the data for this system as of this morning. They went with 90 knots, but I disagree. I think it's closer to 75 based on its appearance. Um, yeah, expected to head west, the west northwest over the next 3 to 4 days, and head northward as the trough in Southern California. That will break the ridge. Um, I expect re-strengthening in the next uh, after about 3 days as it re-enters favorable conditions. Here's the track. West, west, northwest for the next 2 days, and northward then after, possibly even northeastward. I mean, we'll have to see. Yeah, here's the intensity. Then it strengthens. I think Cat 3 is less likely. If it does, it'll become that between 48 and 72 hours before it hits the cool water. Um, Now we're going to look at 93L, which is a most interesting system. Like, has 30 knot winds, 19.1 north, 53.7 west. And as you can see in the models, it's expected to head northwestward for the next 5 days, then head northward and recurve out to sea. Very similar, but potentially to the west. This time to the west of Barbuda. I mean, compared to Gabrielle. Um, there's the GEFS. To almost certainly looking much more likely to the west of Bermuda. Doubtful if they went close to the United States, but EPS to the west of Bermuda, probably close to 70. A hurricane, it looks decently likely. Um, this becomes a tropical storm by 12 hours, then a hurricane by 72 hours, and potentially a Cat 2, even a Cat 3 hurricane, HWFI, and even Icon shows close to a Cat 3 hurricane. HCCA also shows, well, the thing definitely has potential. And the AHC is going with 90% chance of formation. Um, Signs of organization, further development, this is likely to. So, depression is likely to form later today or Thursday, while the system moves west-northwest to northwestward into the western tropical lake, well, north of the Leeward Islands. Yeah. Next, we're going to talk about 94, which is in the Caribbean. Um, it's really west at 15 to 20 miles per hour, spreading heavy rainfall and gusty winds into Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands today, and plus the Dominican Republic began tonight. The system is then expected to slow down and turn northwestward when it reaches the southwest Atlantic late this weekend. Conditions are forecast to be more conducive for development in a few days, and a depression is likely to form when the disturbance in the west of the Bahamas. So yeah, I think it has decent possibilities of forming, but it will probably be later beyond 2 days, probably 3, 4, 5 days in the Bahamas as it's turning northward. Um, let's take a look at it. At 17.6, 65 west. Um, and no, it does not look that hot this morning. It's right about here. Let's take a look at track models. It takes it over Puerto Rico, then possibly over Hesperona, then Circuit Caicos. So I don't expect to develop in the next 24 or 48 hours this system, but then after, as it's turning northwestward, with taking Caicos and maybe the Bahamas, we got a system forming, most likely. GFS neighborhood also show this concept. GPS shows this too, likely becoming potentially a hurricane as it's recurring away from the United States. Chance D isn't too good outside the HWFI. Mean, maybe a marginal tropical storm, but I think hurricane is definitely could be in the cards longer term. Let's take a look at this morning's ACMWF. Definitely has strong support for 93, but also has decent support for 94. Surprisingly close to the United States, a lot of them. It's still worth watching. Um, GEFS is much weaker with the system, much sharper recurve. Pretty much both systems are going to get up in the same trough. Some size for another system long term, forming off the Cape Verdes. Still gonna have to watch that big PG if the ACWF is right. It's 72 hours. There's 126. 168. Yeah, 963 shows one system. It's possible that they literally merge, especially 93 because much stronger. Look at CMC. 174 shows two systems. At 174, let's look at 162. Yeah, it shows two systems, so they don't merge on the CMC. Yeah, you know, at 126. What I think happens is 94 gets further to the west, gets close to Florida, and they just don't merge. In the GFS, uh, I mean, 94 takes up all the energy. I mean, on that, 93 takes up all the energy, becomes the next tropical storm, and then a hurricane. Then here's low pressure for Central Atlantic low pressure right there. Something the neighbors are trying to show it for me longer term. Go to 216. We don't expect too much activity. This is right. I mean, we got this. We just got this solid trough of the East Coast this season that is not allowing tropical development to actually have much of an impact in the United States. So that's your tropical update.